Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 184 of Crunch Time with the N326 Deal. I'm your host today, Sam Godsey, and with me today, as always, it's Tanner Dizzon. Tanner, how you doing?
I've been better. Interesting day for me.
Yeah,
The course of the season, just like in or should I say, the tone of the season, really just completely flipped in a matter of 3 hours
yeah,
for the Minnesota Vikings. Injuries everywhere, including to the young quarterback who played terribly. The team looked terrible. Yeah, it was an interesting couple days to be a Vikings fan, but we'll see where it goes, man.
yeah. It's been a rough 24 to 36 hours as a Vikings fan, I'm sure. But we got an action packed episode for y'all today. Of course, it's football season. That is going to be the main gist of this episode. What do you say we dive right into it? Where do you want to start? Do we want to start the college end of things or NFL? Where do you want to start?
I say we start college.
All right.
I'd like to amend a statement that we made last week.
Yeah.
Last week, I believe we came on here and said Clemson might be bad.
Yeah.
Let's just cross out the might be and put is.
Yeah.
Clemson is bad.
Yeah, obviously everyone knows Clemson lost to Georgia Tech off of a 55-yard field goal to in amazing fashion. Let's start there. The way they pulled off this fire drill esque
Yeah. I
field
love a
goal,
good fire drill field
and
goal. Oh, it's my
it's
favorite.
not your typical like 30-yard, 40, like a pretty makeable. It was a 55 yarder, and he freaking nailed it. But obviously, the story around this game is you kind of mentioned it earlier. The fact Clemson might be dead. Now, there's been talks of this and Dabo Sweeney over the past couple years. We kind of mentioned like last week we were kind of claiming them as being very close. I think the question is, does this put a nail in the coffin for Clemson in the Dabo Sweeney
I
era?
have no idea where that line is because, simply put, Dabo Sweeney to Clemson is as important of a coach as there is. Like, sure, I mean, I remember some of those teams with like Taj Boyd and what's his name, DeAndre Hopkins, and like basically before Deshaun Watson,
Mm-hmm.
because that when Deshaun Watson came in with Dabo, that's when Clemson immediately turned into a team that wins national titles. I don't remember really anything from Clemson before that. They had some
Yeah.
okay teams. Like, he's taken this program and made them a perennial powerhouse. But now, like the last how many handful of years now, they've just been so underwhelming. So I don't know where that I genuinely don't know where that line is, but I can tell you right now it does not look good for Dabo. I mean, this was I drank the Kool-Aid. I thought Clemson was going to be very good. I thought the ACC was absolutely theirs. Not the case, right? Not the
Yeah,
case at all.
and it seems it's I wouldn't say it's an offense, Tanner. I think the offense looked all right. I think it was definitely the better of the three units we saw, or the three units we saw on Saturday. But we came into the season, everyone was drinking the Kool-Aid, us two included, that Clemson is going to be back. They brought back all these guys. You mentioned it last week. Um, they just might not be good.
The guys they brought
Um,
back might just not be good.
and
They're 1 and
the
2, man. That's
the
crazy.
defense is horrible. Haynes King, Georgia Tech's quarterback, absolutely dominated, was doing everything he possibly could. Um, it's you're in a rough spot if you're a Clemson fan. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I don't know what just because I how bad does it need to get to fire your multiple time championship winning head coach? I don't know. Cade Klubnik was about as good of a prospect as you'll have in college football heading into the season, about as hyped up as a quarterback as Caleb Williams, as name the team, name the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, he was as hyped up as them. He was supposed to be as good as them. That's not happening.
Yeah.
You lose to LSU, fine. I'm not mad about that. I want teams to schedule those games, and I think LSU played well in that game. That defense dominated, but like this is not a game you should be losing at all if you're a national title contender. And I don't genuinely know where to go from here for Clemson, because simply put, you're three games in and your season's probably already over.
Yeah.
Especially with the way Miami and Florida State look right now. They're
Yeah.
probably playing for the ACC, and you're probably the odd man out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is the case in Clemson. So that kind of kicked off the crazy college football Saturday.
Because Georgia Tech, I do
Yeah.
want to say that. It feels like for a long time, Clemson would play with their food around teams like Georgia Tech, North Carolina State, some of these ACC teams, and they'd always just find a way to win. It was nice to see them not do that and actually lose one of these games where they didn't play well. And shout out Haynes King. He's an absolute dog. I mean, what he had 120 some odd rushing yards.
Yeah.
Like his 110 rushing yards, 25 attempts from a quarterback is crazy.
Yeah.
He's just a dog, man. He does whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know where you go if you're Clemson.
Maybe to the portal. I mean, I think this year they actually brought in like maybe 3 or 4 players, which is
like it
astronomical compared to what they've done in the past.
Is it? This sounds insane to say, but is it time to move on from Dabo? Because he hasn't adjusted to the present day college football scene.
That would be
he is. Thing. I still think he is a good coach, but coaching is what percentage now of coaching college football?
Yeah, coaching football or recruiting. Like what? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, yeah, and maybe that would be that's what's tough is because he's multi-time national championship winning coach, but that's not in this era of college football.
Yeah,
it's in a previous era.
Yeah, Clemson is gonna be
really interesting. I have my eye on them. It is gonna be really interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, that kind of kicked off the great college football weekend. Now, Tanner, I'll be honest, I didn't tune into this one, but I was checking scores and saw this great one. The backyard brawl between Pitt and West Virginia. Personally, I think it's one of the more underrated rivalries in college football. I think it's an electric game. Did you happen to catch this?
I watched overtime because I was running around a little bit, and then went to overtime right as a game we're going to talk about later. I'll just say went into overtime. So the two of them on was pretty crazy. I could not agree more. The backyard brawl is awesome. You want to talk about pure hate? Like it's I feel like it's one that not many people like we said, underrated. Not many people talk about, but there's no obvious connection. Like you're like Pitt in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And you look at the map and you're like, oh my God, they are right next to each other. And they truly hate each other. So shout out West Virginia, big win at home. That's a program that's been in an interesting spot for a while.
Yeah.
Haven't been good like they were. I mean, Geno Smith, Tavon Austin, those teams were really good for West Virginia. Remember the Will Grier?
Will Grier, of course.
When they were supposed to be nasty and they just like weren't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I could not agree more. One of the more underrated. I'd put it like to me it screams border war. Granted this one wasn't shelved for 15 years, but it's like Kansas and Missouri. My initial reaction was like, but you look at it, it's like, they're right next to each other. Yeah, they freaking hate each other.
Yeah.
And their games are intense. And this one obviously went to overtime, so it was a good ball.
Yeah. I ended up catching highlights and the condensed game. My takeaway was
didn't Pitt like score like a touchdown with like 10
so
seconds left?
9 minutes left. Pitt was up 24-14.
Yikes. Or so it was West Virginia that scored.
So West Virginia came back.
Got it.
You'll have to check the tape, but the first half, Tanner, from what I saw,
Yeah,
it was extremely ugly. It was 7-3 at half. Both offenses were moving the ball. They just couldn't put it in the end zone. But if you haven't checked out those highlights, it was a crazy game.
looks like it was a touchdown with 11 seconds left. West Virginia scored to tie.
That's right. But obviously that got greatly overshadowed by perhaps the game of the year. Um, Georgia, Tennessee. Georgia eked this one out in overtime, 44-41. Now, Tanner, we could dive into the craziness of this game, which I think we will. But I think the headline here is Joey Aguilar versus Gunnar Stockton, two of the best quarterbacks in the SEC and college football, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything we could say that hasn't been said about the UCLA Tennessee trade for quarterbacks and who came out on top and who didn't. Yeah, like Florida looked good. This Tennessee offense, I think I said in the little recap video I made because I was lucky enough to watch Tennessee in person play Syracuse. Like this offense just looks so good.
Yeah.
So fast. They love getting up and playing fast. The wide receivers look good. A couple plays in this game, it felt like Aguilar just kind of threw it up and their receivers made just incredible plays on the ball on some deep passes. So the offense looks great. I think I mentioned it too that like wasn't impressed with their defense against Syracuse. You get Georgia and next thing you know, there's 44 points on your head.
Yeah.
And the two quarterbacks going back and forth was awesome. The game rocked. A little worried about both of these defenses.
Oh yeah.
Honest.
What
happened
what happened to the defensive battles of the SEC where the SEC championship was like 9-6 with LSU and Alabama in like 2013, 2014, I want to say.
Yep. And then they met again in the title game in Alabama.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, when was the last time you saw? Well,
you know,
later on,
you got Georgia Bama last year was like 45-38 or something.
It's crazy.
Back the Georgia comeback that fell short. Like, yeah, it's a new era in college football where the Big 12 is no longer the 55-50 games that's in the SEC.
Well,
some of them are. Yeah,
that might be just because Big 12 is not good anymore.
Yeah, Big 12 is bad.
Yeah, yeah. This is true. Yeah. This is true. But no, this game was absolutely electric. I mean, I watched this one. I saw Tennessee jump out to that 21-7 lead. I was like, oh my god,
it was weird, dude. Because then Georgia's defense, like we're talking about, where did the defense go? For a quarter, they were unbelievable.
Yeah,
it completely shut them down. Got back in the game. Even got the ball back with a chance to take the lead. I believe they settled for a field goal at that point. But yeah, it was crazy. But I feel like we do have to talk about special teams.
Yeah.
Special teams.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, I think the one a lot of people are going to look at is the late game one where Tennessee just absolutely shanked it from 43. Now,
wasn't even close.
I personally think, I mean, we all saw the kicker just shaking in his boots on the sideline.
Yeah, there was zero.
It was like 10 minutes of footage. Yeah. That's tough. That's tough. Fortunately for that kicker, another player, which we'll touch on later, got even more airtime for his air in a big game later on Saturday. But yeah, dude, this tough scene all around for special teams for sure.
Yeah, it's just tough, man. It's the poor kid because like you feel for him. You knew he wasn't going to make it, but you feel for him because, yeah, I mean it's. Yeah, like a makeable kick at the end of regulation. They go to overtime and lose. Tough. Real tough.
Now.
But it was awesome.
Obviously, great games. have to come with a little bit of controversy, Tanner. And of course, overtime, Georgia is getting close to that end zone and they punch it in. Now, I've been seeing a lot that the ref screwed this one up and he didn't get in. I don't know if you've paid that much attention to it, but what are your kind of thoughts on that?
Interesting, because I remember seeing it live. It was ruled short, and I remember watching the replay and thinking to myself, "That's a touchdown," and that's what. And they ended up switching it to a
Yeah.
touchdown. So I remember watching it live, thinking, "Oh yeah, that's a touchdown." So I guess I haven't
That's
seen a
so
replay since.
close. That's so
Interesting. We
close.
got a live reaction here. The angle I saw from the replay
I wonder if they'll show it in this
looked
clip.
to me like a touchdown. Yeah, this is the one. Like everything's up, and he reaches that ball
Yeah.
over. They did go to replay, and I remember watching replay thinking that it was a touchdown.
Yeah. I I can see it going both ways. Um if you're a Tennessee fan, complain about that. Maybe don't blow a 21-7 lead. Maybe just make a field goal. You can blame refs all
Which
you
what down
want.
is it?
It was second or third.
Okay, yeah. If
I
it was,
think it was third and goal, actually.
oh, was it?
I just closed it out, but I'm pretty sure it was. I could be wrong, but yeah. It's tough, man.
Yeah, my official is my official statement is I think they got it right. I think he did score a touchdown, but um,
Yeah. But tough loss. I I don't think this takes away from either team. I think Tennessee is as good as advertised. Joey Aguilar, you mentioned he kind of just throws a deep ball and hopes for the best. He might be a little bit of a deep threat merchant, but it it seemed to work that first half, Tanner. Any last thoughts on this one, man?
just a fun SEC game, man, and I think it's still. I mean, going into the game, I think I said Georgia somehow quickly became the most underrated team in the SEC because we all wanted to talk about the new quarterback in Tennessee, the struggles for Bama, what's going on with some of these other teams. LSU got off to the really hot start, and there was Georgia just beating on bad teams. So we were kind of like, oh, they didn't
It
get
was
much love.
second and goal.
Okay, it was second and goal, so they would have likely punched it on third and
Yeah.
goal. But yeah, I mean Georgia's still Georgia. Just don't ever forget that.
Yeah. Absolutely banger of a game. Another one in the SEC later that night. Um, Arkansas, Ole Miss. This game seems year in, year out, no matter how good either team is, it seems it is always competitive. Everyone remembers the 4th and 28 with Hunter Henry a few years back. Just this game is always competitive, no matter throw records out, throw rankings out, it's going to be competitive. But this one was a little different, Tanner, because Ole Miss had a first game starter, Trinidad Chambliss,
All
fantastic
time name.
all-time name
All time.
from Ferris State. Not like a guy that was recruited high D1, kind of fell back. No, this is straight from Ferris State. Went crazy this game, and it's tough being an Arkansas fan because their offense, I think, it can compete with a lot of teams, but oh my God, their defense can't stop a nosebleed.
Yeah, I mean, looking at, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna choose to say that this was elite offensive execution. You look at some of the sabermetrics, um, EPA per play, EPA per drop back, yards per play, yards per drop back. I mean, every single offensive stat you can look at, these teams were like 90th percentile and above.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, I'm gonna choose elite offense and not terrible defense, although probably both are true. But yeah, it was just this is what makes college football awesome. Two teams don't really like each other, similar region, big time grudge match, and you just watch score after score after score after score. And some dude from Ferris State comes in and throws the ball all over the field, puts up 41 in a nice win for Ole Miss. So like this game was like I don't know how much I believe certain. I don't know how much I believe in Ole Miss for the future,
Yeah.
but this was just really fun to watch, and two teams that can really score the football.
Yeah,
And shout
absolutely.
out Trinidad Chambliss.
Yeah. Freaking awesome name. Um, it seems talking with my brother, of course, y'all know he's a big Hogs fan. It seems the Arkansas faithful is kind of on cruise control already, which is really sad. But they're just trying to get that Pittman buyout
Yep,
lowered.
that's it.
That's like if his buyout wasn't so ridiculous, he would have been fired last year.
Definitely, definitely,
Um, it
without
because
question.
I think they have the talent to be good. And when you have the talent and aren't winning, you have to look at the coaching staff, and it's very, very bleak for um for the Hog faithful. Now on the other side, you have a coach that is the most unserious dude coaching. I mean, is a close game. Um
Oh,
Ole Miss forced a turnover. They do like the hoop,
yep.
turnover hoop. Um, and the ball got on the field, and instead of just having an assistant throw catch the ball and put it away, he made a little hoop. Is buckets, by the way. But I mean, you see him doing that. You see him sheathing the dagger. I mean, say he is a absolute goofball, but say all you want, the dude can coach football.
This is why I had this realization. I think I said it to you as we were watching the game. I don't know if there's been a more perfect coach and program matchup than Lane Kiffin to Ole Miss, because Lane Kiffin is just an absolute goofball. He's all for show. He loves to do it. He, all of his teams are usually not like I don't know what the like tough, win in the trenches type
They're
teams.
flashy.
They're
They're very
flashy. They
flashy
love
team.
West Coast football. They love to get up and go. They love good offensive numbers. They have terrible defenses. And in the end, they'll never really win anything because of it.
Yeah.
That's just Ole Miss. That's literally Ole Miss. Like that is the perfect combination. They will always be, relevant. They'll usually be top, certainly top 25. They'll peak at around 15, 10 to 15. Maybe they'll be in the top 10 and the high end of the top 10. And then they'll run into a Georgia, they'll run into an Alabama, and they'll just get crushed because they won't be able to match up with them physically, and that is just perfect. And everything he does is for show, i.e., doing this, and he loves being the clip, and he loves being on Twitter, and he loves all eyes on him, and that's what Ole Miss is. It's just perfect.
Yeah. It is a match made in heaven for sure, Tanner. There is no doubt about that. But
I'm not buying any Ole Miss stock
no,
right now. I don't know.
no,
I've
absolutely
not been
not.
impressed.
Yeah. I think this game showed way more about Ole Miss than it did Arkansas. I do think it was a good showing from Arkansas, but like I said, their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. But Arkansas loses another heartbreaker. And Ole Miss seems to have their flaws, but can put up some points. Moving on though, this game was unreal, Tanner. Texas A&M taking on Notre Dame. A&M ekes out and win 41-40. Uh, Tanner, this game was back and forth. It seemed all game. Uh, Absolute craziness down the stretch. I think that's where this game kind of began. Uh, I kind of mentioned it earlier. The butchered extra point by Notre
Yep.
Dame with about 3 minutes left. Fumbled snap. I remember we were watching this. I thought it was part of a trick play when I first saw it, but obviously he fumbled snap. And the poor kid, man,
They
they
did it so
had
dirty.
a they had like 6 cameras on
They
him, I
did it
swear.
so dirty,
Yeah,
man.
it was unreal. But talk to me about this one, man.
I mean, do we start with the controversy? Did you happen to see this?
Of course, the blatant tackle,
Yeah, that's a really
hold
tough missed
on the
call.
fourth down that led to the game winner. Thoughts?
It's a hold. It's a
Yep,
hold.
yep.
Well,
Can't tackle.
it's not even a questionable hold.
No,
It's a
it
clear
is
hold.
blatant.
I don't really know how you missed that. That is a really tough miss. Um, if you're a Notre Dame fan, I would be sharing the hell out of that clip because it's tough. Again, it's games that are not won or lost on one play. If you throw that, obviously Notre Dame wins.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame is now 0-2.
Yes. Speaking of that, I do have a question about that. They are still ranked with 0-2. And to be honest with you, Tanner, first off, this is kind of a two-part question. Do you think they should still be ranked?
I'm gonna say yes because, to be honest with you, it's mainly because I want to encourage teams to schedule tough games in their non. I understand they're 0-2. They've played Texas A&M and Miami. Miami is a top 5 team in the nation right now. They played them on the road. Texas A&M, this is a tough one. And went back and forth. You're a botched extra point away from going to overtime and a missed holding call away from winning. So I'm gonna go with yes. I understand they're 0-2. But I what I don't want to happen is I don't want a who I think is still a good football team to schedule tough games in the early part of their schedule to lose against the top 5 team on the road and then lose a back and forth game against another like good football team, then to just fall out of the rankings. I don't want to punish that, but they lost, so you should punish it. But I don't want to like be overly punitive. I think in the high 20s is probably right where they should be, um, which I think is where they are. Right?
They're 24th.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine. What do you think?
I think they should be unranked. I think any team this early in the season 0-2 is crazy, especially when you have them ranked above a undefeated team. I think personally, I don't think the AP poll is worth a shit to begin with.
Right,
I think
right.
is one of the worst. We obviously have seen the news uh 2 weeks ago about AP voter basically saying, why does it matter where I put teams when
She's correct.
she's correct, but that's
It
absurd to
sucks. Yeah, it's
say.
terrible to say. She's
Um,
correct.
but like, sure, Notre Dame 0-2 ranked, that's fine. But then you have teams that were ranked that just are completely out, like South Florida. They got smacked, but to have them drop out, the South Carolina losing, they dropped out. Um, it's a it's too early to be complaining really about the AP poll, but I do think it's kind of crazy that an 0-2 team is still ranked. I think it's like the first time in history that has happened. I I do think there is a little bias here with the Notre Dame brand being so popular, but
I get that. I mean, my response to that would be like the common opponent with like they got USF got smacked by Miami. Notre Dame lost by 3.
a loss is a loss. Though. Like in the at the end of the day, both teams lost.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Like it's one of those where if you don't rank them, I don't think we'll ever like.
I just don't know why we're giving them rewards for losing. That's my thing.
I get it. I get it. It's yeah. I get it. Yeah, it's a total of by a total of 4 points to two good opponents. But yes, I do like a winless team after because technically we're going into week 4. A
Yeah,
winless team going
that's
into week
right.
4 ranked is tough. It's a unique scenario because it's also Notre Dame where they have to get in there. They have to pad their strength of schedule early because we know how much they struggle to get top 25 teams in their schedule because everyone's playing conference games and they're independent. So they have to get them in early. So their season's done. Like they're not going anywhere. They're done. If they needed to win these games to pad their schedule, they're done. They are toast. Notre Dame is not going anywhere this year.
So that brings up the question: do they even have a remote chance of getting in to the
Nope,
playoffs?
they're done.
They're done
They are done. The only chance they have to get a ranked win, looking at the
right
schedule,
now.
would be USC.
Yeah. And who knows if they'll be ranked by then.
Yeah, like, and that's kind of my. I mean, we both like we've said it a million times. The AP doesn't matter because this Notre Dame team is going nowhere. They even if they win out, they will not make college football. They won't.
Yeah.
Nor should they.
Yeah. When do the college football playoffs rankings start coming out?
Ooh, that's. I don't think it's. There's probably what 7 or 8 of them. Is that right? So, or no, that's too many. Maybe 4 of them. So I would probably guess October, maybe sometime in
Yeah.
October.
Yeah. But yeah, Notre Dame is definitely in a difficult situation. Maybe join a conference that might help your case.
Yeah, I mean, because like again, like I said, like I'm trying to defend them for those 2 losses. If you come back here and they were in the Big Ten, which makes sense, a Midwestern originally Midwestern centric league, if they could get a win against Illinois,
Mm-hmm.
Indiana, 2 ranked teams, maybe you could get in there and play. Um, I don't want to say Ohio State and Oregon because right now they look like juggernauts, but you can get in, some of these. You can go into Nebraska and get a win. You can go into, wherever and get a win, Michigan and get a win. Now you're looking like, hey, we have the resume to support a playoff berth. But looking at this right now, I don't think there's any way they can come back from what the hole they
Yeah.
put themselves.
It's gonna be they are just gonna have to dominate teams to get into the playoffs from here on out. And it's gonna be interesting for sure. But any last thoughts on this game, Notre Dame or A&M as a whole?
I don't. I just like A&M. They're weird. Their fans are weird. Their fans are super weird. But you know what? Like, when's the last time A&M had like a signature win like this? So I'm gonna say good for them. Um, Notre Dame's dead. A&M fans, good for you. You got a big time win for the first time in what feels like forever. As much as I don't like them, and as much as I think their fans and their everything is culty, um, I do think like college football and the SEC is better when Texas A&M is good. They just add that extra level of competitiveness in that conference. because you know you have the big dogs, but when that second level with A&M and all of them are good, it's usually a pretty good thing for college football. So
Yeah. And Marcel Reed is super fun to watch.
yes,
He's a stud. Um, but that leaves, of course, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa UMass finally got the offense going, of course, against one of the worst FBS teams in the country. But it was a historic win as Kirk Ferentz became a name in the record books in Big Ten coaching win record with 205. Tanner, talk to me.
it's cool. It's cool that whenever whenever they'll show Big Ten winning as coaches, someone with a Hawkeye logo will be at number one. That's really cool. Um, we ripped into him pretty hard last episode, and I'm not going to retract that. I think everything we said is accurate. But it's not. I don't. That's not going to understate what he's meant to the program. He was once upon a time the hottest name in college coaching. He could have left to go to a major school, and even probably, and I think he could have left to go to the NFL multiple times in his tenure, but he decided not to and stayed with us. And that loyalty is appreciated because if he would have left when he was in the height of his career, we would have been a really rough spot. Probably rougher than it is right now, just with everything falling apart and trying to fill that void. So that loyalty is appreciated by Iowa fans. He's a legend. He absolutely deserves a statue at just outside of Kinnick Stadium somewhere. Um, Kirk Ferentz is Iowa football, and that because it seems like his prime is behind them, and he does need to retire, does not take away what he's meant to this program. I still love Kirk Ferentz with all my heart. I've never known Iowa football to be anything different. Neither have you. But shout out Kirk Ferentz. I just my only thing I can say is that build the statue. He should get a statue, and that's what he means to the program.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of mentioned at the where is his height of his career?
I think it was probably around the Stanzi, maybe right after the
Stanzi.
Stanzi stuff. So like when we were top 10 for a few years there,
Yeah.
peaked on number 4 maybe. Um, Obviously we know injuries to Stanzi derailed that, but I think it was like early 2010s, late 2000s, early 2010s is probably his height.
Yeah. I honestly think there's been a couple, honestly. Now I think in our lifetime, I think or like time we remember, I do think it is that era you mentioned, but I think when he first came on, just doing a little bit of research here, he led Iowa to 3 consecutive top 10 finishes, 2002 to 2004, 2 Big Ten titles. Um, Obviously, that's highlighted by one of the best Iowa offensive players of all time, Brad Banks, being the quarterback there. But as much as we bash on him, there's no doubt that he is the face of Iowa football, like you said. Um, I mean, we literally know nothing different. I was 3 days old when he got hired at Iowa, which is absurd.
Huh.
Um, just it's gonna be weird when he decides to hang it up. And yeah, shout out Kirk Ferentz. As much as we bash on him, and like you said, I think it is deserved at this point. It has been a tremendous 20 26 years now. Um,
Wow.
it's insane.
I was just looking up to see if I could find a list of offers um, that he received. And it looks like in 2004 he was offered the Florida job and
Wow.
he turned it down to stay at Iowa.
Didn't we
So
play Florida in a bowl game around then?
sounds about right. Sounds about right.
I think
Any
it,
of those outbacks, we played LSU,
yeah.
Florida, seemingly year after year. Um, but is I mean like that doesn't go unnoticed for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. The Gators eventually hired Urban Meyer, and they faced each other in 2006 Outback Bowl.
That's crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, right. And I think there was another one in there that said West Virginia tried to hire him away as well. And he
Yeah.
decided to stay. So
I mean, you, as much as we complain about the state of Iowa football, which again, I do think is deserved. When was the last time we Iowa football had a bad bad year? Obviously, we all know they're terrible offenses. We've seen it. We've talked about it almost every episode, but when was like what year, what season was when it was at its
I'm
worst?
trying to because like
Because
I would consider like awful bad to the point where like this sucks. Don't make a bowl game or which is less than 500,
yeah,
right? Which I'm going to bump it up from that. Let's say 7 wins. When's the last time they didn't have 7 wins?
yeah. So here's
I genuinely
Iowa
don't know.
bowl games. Um, that Kirk Ferentz has been 0-1 Alamo Bowl, 0-2 Orange Bowl, 0-3 Outback Bowl, 0-4 Capital One Bowl, 0-5 Outback Bowl, 0-6 Alamo Bowl, 0-8 Outback Bowl, 0-9 Orange Bowl, 10 Insight Bowl, 11 Insight Bowl, 13 Outback Bowl, 14 Tax Slayer Bowl, 15 we can not talk about that one, 16 Outback Bowl, 17 Pinstripe Bowl, 18 Outback Bowl, 19 Holiday Bowl, 20 Music City Bowl, 21 Citrus Bowl, 22 Music City Bowl, 23 Citrus Bowl, and 24 Music City Bowl. Now, obviously, there's a lot of wins and unfortunately a lot of losses, but the fact we made it it seemed every year except 2007 and 2012 from my quick glance. That's pretty amazing.
I have the answer. When's the last time Iowa football won less than 7 games? This is not including
COVID.
the COVID year,
Okay. I
um,
would,
which
based off of what I just read, I'd say 2012.
4-8. That was the last time. Even the COVID year, they went 6-2, so they didn't hit 7, but they almost did in 8 games. They quite literally almost
Who
did.
was on that? Let's see.
2012 was the last time they didn't win 7 games.
That's actually insane. 4-8, 2-6.
Who was the
Wow.
quarterback? Christensen?
Uh, so we we lost to
Oh, it was
Central.
Vandenberg.
We lost to Central Michigan that year.
I remember that. Sure.
Believe it or not, we lost a lot of games, but like the so that is by far and away our worst year under Kirk Ferentz, or most recent bad year.
Yeah, because if you take that one out, you got to go back to 2007.
Yeah. Um. So looking at 2012 schedule, lost by 3 to Iowa State, lost by 1 to Central Michigan, got smoked by Penn State, lost by 11 to Northwestern, lost by 3 to Indiana, lost by 3 to Purdue, got smoked by Michigan, and then lost by 6 to Nebraska. So it's not like we were even getting like like we weren't getting obliterated by these teams, but
Yeah, it's so
oh my god,
like
there are some names on this roster.
I
Oh
saw
my
Cavante Martin
god.
Manley was on the team.
Jordan Kinzeri. What you know
Sure,
about
of
him?
course.
Mark Wiseman, of course.
Henry Krieger Coble.
Jeez. Tavon Smith. CJ for Ferdowitz.
Fedorowicz, yeah, absolutely. He went on to play for the Texans.
George Kittle.
What a tight end room.
James Ferentz. Brandon Scherf was on that team.
Wow.
Wow. Micah Hyde was on that team.
They had NFL talent.
That's another thing. Anthony Hitchens, Christian Kirksey was on that team. That's another thing I think that gets overlooked with um with Kirk Ferentz is how much NFL talent he has produced. Like
Yeah.
obviously we know all the tight ends that Iowa has produced over the past 10 years, but like just like Micah Hyde was a stud for so long. Geno
Dude,
Stone, um,
I saw something recently. It was just like number of players
Adrian
in
Claiborne's
active
another one.
NFL rosters.
Yeah, I think I saw the same
Iowa had
graphic.
more than Texas. Iowa had more than
That's
Texas.
insane. Crazy. But shout out Kirk Ferentz. 205 is insane. But do you have anything like on the actual game itself?
This was the only way that I was going to leave this game satisfied is if they came out and they said we need to get this passing game right. We need to get Gronowski comfortable with these receivers. We need to push this ball downfield, and that's what they did. And that's the only way I could have come out with this. If they won this game like Albany and they won 40-7, but they ran for 300 yards,
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh boy.
Yeah.
But no, they said we need to get this thing right, and we're going to push this ball downfield. And
Yeah.
that's what they did. And even though it's against UMass, it's important to see for the wide receivers to see, hey, he can throw this ball here. For Gronowski to say, hey, guys, look, I can throw it to you. Like, don't give up on a play. If I'm scrambling out, give me an open spot, and I'll get it. Excuse me, and I'll get it to you. Like, it's important for all that to happen, even though it was against UMass. So, yeah.
And to be honest with you, Tanner, if you look at the box score, it's not overly impressive. 16-24, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns. But what a lot of people don't realize is that's all you need.
Yeah.
Just be a threat when it comes to the pass game. Don't let them box. Just
don't let
load the box. Yeah. And it was nice to see. Obviously, we got to take this with a grain of salt. It is UMass,
who is not only like this isn't a situation where it's like, oh, UMass is like not as big as Iowa. They're not as good. No, they're one of the worst. They lost to Bryant last week.
They are very bad. But any last thoughts on Iowa, Kirk Ferentz legacy, anything?
The season starts. I mean, losing to Iowa State doesn't define the season. Obviously, it's not a conference game. It sucks to do that, but now the season starts. You go to Rutgers on Friday. I'll be really interested to see how this team plays against Big Ten competition.
Yeah.
Because that Iowa State game was so weird with how everything was approached. So I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see, but that game was enough. The way they threw the ball was enough to at least get me back interested in Iowa football and how things go for the rest of the Big Ten.
Yeah, absolutely. But what do you say we flip it over to the pros?
I got one more question on college.
Let's go. Hit me with it.
This is going to be a very much a ESPN headline-y type question. Is Arch Manning bad?
Dude, he might be.
Is Arch Manning bad?
He might be. Or is it just Texas as a whole?
Texas could be bad.
But Arch Manning has not been impressive as of late.
No. And it's not even a scenario where the only time they played a good team, he looked bad. No, he looks bad against bad teams too. Like, what did they play? UTSA or UTEP? Which
UTEP,
one?
UTEP, I believe.
One of the U Texas Orange schools. Um,
Yeah, UTEP. They
UTEP.
won 27-10. He finished 11, 25, 114 yards, one touchdown, one interception. He did
That's
rush
bad.
for 51 yards and two touchdowns, but you're a quarterback. Yeah, not good,
Texas is
especially
not going to
against
win
UTEP.
major SEC games with him throwing the ball 114
Yeah,
for 114 yards and rushing for 50.
yeah.
So
Not good.
Texas is going to be really
I kind of love it
interesting.
though.
I know you do.
I love it.
I know you do. I'm very interested to see how.
But
So they get Sam Houston next
I
week.
will say though, I'll be a little devil's advocate
Okay.
here. He is the most hyped up prospect we have seen in
He
college
sure is.
football since who?
Okay.
I mean, I personally think he might be the most in our lifetime.
I would say before playing meaningful games, yes.
True, true.
Like I'm sure there was some hyped prospect who, was coming off a great season. His junior year is coming back for his senior year, sure. But with someone who's never before playing any meaningful college football games, yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, this dude came. I mean, people were calling for him to play last year instead of Quinn Ewers, but came into this season, I think it even built even more than last year. This guy was like this. He's a Manning. He's gonna be great. He's gonna be like Eli and Peyton, and but yeah, he can run the ball. Oh my God, this
But we
dude is
forget
gonna
who his
be.
dad is,
Yeah, this is true.
or his dad's Cooper, right?
Yeah,
Forget who his
that's
grandpa
Cooper.
is.
Yeah,
He got his grandpa's quarterback ability.
but it's definitely concerning down in Austin. It might be a situation where he's just not comfortable in the offense, but these are the games you gotta get. I mean, if he doesn't blow it out of the water next week against that 0-3 Sam Houston State team,
Yeah,
Austin, the Texas faithful was booing him on Saturday.
yeah, he's getting booed now. You mentioned they have another cupcake. Then SEC play starts.
Yeah.
Then here comes Florida, and they're going to be starving for any possible way they can get a win. And guess what's after Florida? I would argue this is probably their biggest rival. Maybe second biggest rival.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma comes to town. You got the Red River, baby.
Woo!
You got the Red River, and I tell you what, some idiot on this podcast told you Temple was going to cover against Oklahoma. They took him to the woodshed.
It's all right.
They took him to the woodshed and just completely eviscerated Temple. Oklahoma looks really good.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't get after this week. It does. Florida. Excuse me.
So I mean, I can tell you right now, I don't know if they beat Florida if
The
Arch
thing,
Manning, thank you, plays the way he's been playing. I
the
don't
thing
know.
with Florida though is their quarterbacks also ass.
So Texas defense might just
yeah,
that's true.
But it's obviously going to be a storyline people talk about. We'll talk about. But yeah, great point. Arch Manning definitely one of those headlines of college football. But shall we stay in the state of Texas as we dive into the NFL?
Oh, I guess. Sorry, one more thing.
Jeez.
I think we need to mention to wrap up. Two coaches are now looking for, or two. That's not good for fantasy. Two programs have fired their head coach.
Yep.
Definitely worth mentioning. UCLA.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Hilarious.
New Mexico marched in and beat them 35-10. Marched into LA.
Yeah.
Empty stadium. They suck. Nico sucks.
Nico's awful. He's so bad.
He's getting paid so much money.
Bad.
He's so bad. Which, by the way, he's getting paid less money at UCLA than he
Yep.
would have gotten at Tennessee if he didn't say, "Hey, pay me more money for no
Yeah.
reason," because he was terrible. Um,
It's tough.
yeah, so UCLA is now
Hilarious.
0-3 with losses to getting absolutely beaten into the ground by Utah, and then losses to
Yeah.
UNLV in New Mexico. The other side also might be just as bad. Virginia Tech, Old Dominion, walks into Blacksburg and beats Virginia Tech. Did you see the score?
I
Take a
didn't.
guess. What do you think the score was?
Uh, 27-10.
45-26.
Oh.
They beat him into the ground.
Ooh.
Beat him into the ground. Now Virginia Tech is 0-3.
Ooh.
They have a loss to South Carolina, but then they have a loss to Vanderbilt 40-20 or 44-20, and then Old Dominion 45-26.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Yeah. And I'm
once proud program, might I add.
yeah. Yeah. It's
Tyrod Taylor, Michael Vick.
I mean, now I saw this on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And I want to know if you knew this because I did not. I might have sent it to you earlier. Um, let's see. Did I send it? But I can't find the tweet as of right now. But did you know that because of if a coach gets fired,
Yes.
um the transfer portal opens up for the current players. And what makes it even more interesting is it is 3 games into the season for you in order to redshirt, it's 4, I believe.
They can pack it in, transfer, and maintain a year of eligibility. Yep.
Insane.
Yep. So those, it's gonna be ugly coming out from those two teams.
I just don't understand how UCLA is bad. Like that makes no sense.
Obviously, whenever a coach is fired, I've gotten a ton of notifications on my Twitter of decommitments from people.
Yeah.
So yeah, rock bottom. It seems like certainly for UCLA, who's got a ton of money in this one quarterback, but at least Virginia Tech, you can kind of cut ties and restart. But Virginia Tech to me is when I think of UCLA football, I'm like, whatever. Virginia Tech football is a proud history. The fact that Virginia Tech is losing to Old Dominion by 19 at home.
Obviously, big name associated with that rich history. Frank Beamer.
Yeah, and yeah.
So
you have a coaching legend. Like,
do you throw everything at Shane Beamer?
I don't know if you can get him to leave. It's
at
least worth it. It's at least worth it.
Shoot or shoot, right?
You got to
shoot or
try.
shoot.
You got to
but
try.
I think he'd be a moron to lead South Carolina.
Yeah. I think he's in the right spot, but maybe an ACC schedule can be enticing.
Yeah,
you don't got to play literally everyone always, and maybe you can be like you can get some of your guys to promote, like Lenore Sellers in the ACC would be fun. That would be fun. So
yeah, he'd be a problem.
But yeah, he would be a problem. That's the thing about Virginia Tech. You feel like they should be able to hire a decent coach, but yeah, it's dark times in Blacksburg.
Yeah, absolutely. Any last college football news? That's it. All right, let's flip it over to the NFL side of things. Last week it was an awesome week. This week, not so much. But this game was an all-timer. Giants, Cowboys went into OT. I have 3 things.
You go ahead.
3 talking points. Cowboys defense is god awful.
Correct.
Russell Wilson, Brandon Aubrey.
I love it. Let's go through that. I mean, Dallas's defense is absolutely brutal.
But don't worry, we have the savior, Jadeveon Clowney.
Clowney's on his way to help.
That's like Micah Parsons 2.0. So
Correct. Did you see? Did you know that in college
he had this one
he had this
hit.
one play? Funnily enough, it was after one of the worst calls I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Mike Tirico with one of the best announcing calls I've ever seen.
Yeah.
South Carolina deserves to have it, and they do. Yeah. I mean, it feels like a Band-Aid on a broken leg to bring in someone who's like fine to come join this defense that's god awful.
It's a name. It's like a name though. You see and you're like, hell yeah, he's a stud because everyone remembers that one hit.
Yep. High draft pick. I think he's had a few productive years in the NFL. So,
but nothing lived up to hype.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he was he's in the number 1 or number 2 draft pick.
Yeah,
I think he was number 1. Yeah, no, I totally agree with all of that. Those are the 3 main points. Because look, to me, I can't remember if I said this. Did I say that I have an official Dak test?
No, I
Dak
think
Prescott is officially the ball knower test for me.
Yeah,
because if you think if I can speak, if you think Dak Prescott's bad at football, I simply think you don't know.
Yeah.
Now this is gonna be really interesting to see what our quarterback rankings.
Yeah,
because I don't remember where we had that.
I'll pull it up.
I can't say the Cowboys this year have been all that impressive. Dak Prescott, I think, is quite good at football.
So we had him on a weekly roller coaster. So 4th tier. So above, but he was towards the top of weekly roller coaster.
Well, what's above weekly roller coaster?
Could be him.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, I would probably say I would probably move him up to could be him. But
we have Kyler Murray in the weekly roller coaster bracket. We have Kyler Murray above Dak Prescott.
Yeah, okay.
But we also have Dak Prescott over Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I watched Dak Prescott play, and if CeeDee Lamb could catch a football, they probably win week 1. And week 2, I mean, he's throwing it all over the place, and the run game is next to non-existent. I don't know. I think Dak Prescott is a talented quarterback who I would love to have on my team. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say. I don't know. I think, and if you go to the Cowboys struggles and you're like, ha, Dak Prescott, I might think you might not know.
I think that's a certified non-ball knower attribute is if you just blame Dak Prescott because
I think he's good, man.
He's playing well.
I know, when I say he's good, he's not Josh Allen, he's not Lamar Jackson, he's not he's not top tier quarterback. But look, I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think you can win a Super Bowl with him as your quarterback.
Now, if you're a Giants fan, talking about quarterbacks, I do think Dak might have been outplayed. I don't know. This is a weird because Russell Wilson threw for 450 yards.
Yes.
3 touchdowns. But I will say, I think of a lot of those yards were, Malik Neighbors down there somewhere.
The moon ball.
I mean, how many just toss-ups did?
Such good pass.
I know.
The last the pass to put the Giants ahead, with 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
That's one of the pass was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And one of the also unbelievable catch by Neighbors. His face was covered.
Yeah.
But it was gorgeous pass. Still to this day, I don't know if anyone throws a better deep ball than Russell Wilson somehow. But if you're a Giants fan, I have to say this is worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Because the best case scenario would be if you lose games, it's because your stud young defense and Kayvon Thibodeau and Abdul Carter are getting after the quarterback, but your offense just can't move it because Russell Wilson stinks. And then you have when it looks like your coach and GM are about to get fired, you have the let's play Jackson Dart card. And then the season becomes interesting again because you're like, oh my, we'll see what Jackson Dart has, but this defense looks great. Now, that's just how it happened.
Yeah.
Your quarterback that's going to bring you nowhere threw for 450 yards out of nowhere. Your defense gets shredded by what I do consider is it's a good offense. So,
Yeah.
but they got shredded. The pass rush didn't really seem to be there, and I'm not seeing. I mean, we're only 2 games in, but Abdul Carter has been kind of nowhere, and Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, he might have had a sack, but like
I think he did.
this
Yeah.
pass rush is supposed to be what gets you there. The defense was not great, and the offense with a quarterback that's again not part of the future was the reason you were in this game. Yikes. That's tough. Malik Neighbors looks awesome. I guess that's good. That's a good thing if you're a Giants
Yeah.
fan. Not that was in doubt, I think. I think it's pretty obvious he was going to be that guy. But, like, if this is the team they are, going from Russell Wilson to Jackson Dart is not going to instill any hope in this team at all. So that's tough. To me, as a fan, this is worst case scenario. If your quarterback's going to throw for 450 yards, you should win that.
Yeah. Absolutely. But as impressive as that performance was by Wilson, I think he got outmatched by Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah, an
Unreal.
unbelievable. I don't. Is anyone? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna fire off a take because that's what we do. We fire off takes. No one in the NFL is as good at their job than Brandon Aubrey is at kicking. It's just
Dude,
that
it's money.
It's just that kicking is just not as important as quarterback. So he's not the
Yeah.
best player in the NFL. But like, no one is as good as their job as Brandon. That 64-yarder, that was good. The minute it left his foot, it hit the net, Sam.
Yeah.
64-yarders are ones where they have a returner back who's got his hands up and he's and he's looking back and it barely crosses and he's like,
yeah,
left net.
Yeah, he's an absolute stud. Thank God for him. With that kick, he now has 4 field goals from 60 plus, which ties an NFL record. He's 48 of 49 at home. Was his only miss coming from 40 yards against Houston. He's the first NFL player to ever convert a game-tying field goal with no time remaining in the fourth quarter and a game-winning field goal with no time remaining in overtime. This dude is a walking bucket when it comes to kicking field goals.
It's crazy. Now I have a question for you. Before anyone gets on me, I am stealing this from part of my take, but I want to hear your answer. Brandon Aubrey has his resume exactly everything he's done in the NFL. He's kicked 4 kicks. He's 4 of 4 from 60 plus, but he just did it at Alabama for 4 years. And he's coming out of college. What round is he drafted in the NFL draft? Do you think he would get drafted in the second round?
The second round. Yeah, I mean, I think I gotta say yes. Like,
I think so too.
Because with a lot of redrafts and stuff, you obviously they redraft based on who's doing. I mean, Brandon Aubrey has single-handedly won Cowboys games.
Yeah,
and I think what's the craziest part about Brandon Aubrey is he has made us forget one of the best place kickers, Justin Tucker. I'm strictly talking football here. In an instant.
Literally in an instant. Yeah. He's unbelievable, dude. And just to put it in perspective, Jake Moody, who the 49ers cut, he was the 3rd round draft pick.
Yeah.
Like, it's not unprecedented to take kickers in the 3rd, and now you know one. I mean, granted, the only thing would teams be hesitant if he could do it in the NFL?
Yeah.
I don't know why they would be. It's not like kicking is supremely, like, obviously everything is different in the NFL. I would say kicking is probably the most that's the same between the two.
Mm-hmm.
But he's such a weapon, man. And can you imagine, like, if you're like if the Eagles had Brandon Aubrey?
Yeah.
one handoff to Saquon, and you're pretty much guaranteed to be in field goal range. Especially now that touchbacks are at the 35.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
off a touchback, you literally have to get. I mean, that 64-yard field goal would have absolutely been good from 70.
yes,
That's
100%.
and that a 70-yard field goal is kicking off from your own 47. You need 12 yards to be in field goal range.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
That's such a weapon, man.
Yeah, I personally think it's one of the most underrated weapons in the NFL and football. Because name me one Super Bowl champ that had a bad kicker. You can't. Um, the dude, like looking at
Special teams are so.
looking at this
Ask
draft
fans
class.
of the Green Bay Packers how important special teams are in the playoffs.
Yeah, if you look at this draft class, it's hard to say no. Like honestly, there are some names that bring back memories, but like Kenny Pickett, there you go. There's a fun one.
The only thing I remember about Kenny Pickett is a fake slide.
Yeah. Chris Olave, what career he's had in the NFL.
Huh. Yeah, but like I think that's kind of just like what I'm.
The fact it's even a debate's crazy.
Yeah, and he is. No one is as good at their job in the NFL than as Brandon Aubrey is at kicking.
Yeah,
An absolute weapon. Won him this game.
stud, absolute stud. Any last thoughts on this one?
I don't think so, man. It's just the Cowboys' defense is rough, and obviously,
We got Jadeveon Clowney there. We're fine.
and obviously, there's a key piece that's been on that team for a while that is no longer there, and it's like it's the I think it's the Tim Robinson. I think you should leave. Like Jerry Jones is. We're all trying to figure out the person who did this while wearing the hot dog suit because he did it to himself. They were a good unit until they weren't.
So I might butcher this stat, but I'm like 95% sure this is a correct stat. I heard it on some podcast. When Micah Parsons was on the field with the Cowboys, they were the number one defense. Guess where they were when he was off? What the ranking was?
There's 32 teams, so like 30th,
Lower.
30, 32.
Yep.
Last. Yeah, it's bad, man.
I just don't.
Nobody will. Nobody will.
I mean, that got.
Nobody will. I got nothing for you.
I
I've got absolutely nothing for you.
Sense.
I understand. I understand. But the fact of the matter is, when you are the Dallas Cowboys and you have the best defensive player in football, one of the best players in football on your team, you do not trade them. You are the Dallas Cowboys. Even if you sign him to a big contract and the last couple years of his contract are he's not producing as he once was, you are the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
You can trade him then. You have the money to buy him out. You do whatever you need to do. Manipulate the cap. You do not let him go. And it's crazy that they did. It is. It's just crazy.
So I've been thinking to myself about this, and I kind of want to get your thoughts. Obviously, I think the two best players on the Cowboys last year were CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. Who's one? Who's two? Because I personally think you can argue either way.
Yeah, it's really because like you try to keep positional value out of it. It's next to impossible to. I would say probably Micah Parsons is the better at his position. The most valuable player, the more important player is CeeDee.
Okay.
But it's tough to say that when like the millisecond he gets traded to the Packers.
Sure.
They were already a good unit. I don't want to say they weren't, but literally the millisecond he gets traded to the Packers, they're like the best defense we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I just think I think the Cowboys without CeeDee Lamb are in a worse spot than the Cowboys without Micah Parsons. The Cowboys without CeeDee Lamb, I think, are 0-2. They're 0-2. I understand he had the troubles catching the ball, but like I think they're not in the game versus the Eagles without him.
Agreed.
And it's the gravity effect. Like, you know, George Pickens, he had the game he had yesterday.
True.
Like
it's definitely interesting thought process between those two. But shall we talk what was supposed to be the headliner of the week, the Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and the Chiefs? Eagles end up winning this one 20-17, Tanner. And I think the story of this game is, when are we going to actually start to ref the tush push as blatant cheating?
I got to be honest, man. I was too afraid to say it. I was on team ban the tush push. Did I ever say it on the podcast? I can't remember if I did or not.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because I was scared. Because I was getting it. I hate that play. I think it is an absolute cancer to football. First off, it's just not football. Second off, it is illegal for a linebacker to get behind a defensive lineman and just push him forward to get penetration. That is not allowed. Why can they do it the other way?
Yeah.
Also, it is illegal in the NFL to line up in the neutral zone. The neutral zone, out, like, you hear that term, like, enter the neutral zone. What is the neutral zone? The neutral zone is a line that is the length of the football. That is the line of scrimmage. That is the neutral zone. That however long the football is, that's the area of the neutral zone. You cannot line up in the neutral zone on offense or on defense. Look up a random play and look where the offensive linemen are lined up. That is how you play football. You are not allowed to be in the neutral zone. Look how they line up in the tush push.
It's insane.
All 5 linemen are in the neutral zone. That is not allowed. That is not a legal football play. And now you saw that both guards jumped way early, not called. This is not a legal football play.
They were on the ground, because we all know they just kind of leap forward, and both of them were on the ground before the ball was even hiked.
Yeah.
Like it's absurd.
That's not legal. That is not legal.
And it happened 3 separate times in the fourth.
Yeah. And like, the response to this is going to be, well, why don't they just ref it correctly? It's been going on for 4 years now, and they haven't refed it correctly at all. You need to get it out of the game. You do. The tush push needs to be banned. That's my take. That's a take I've had for a bit, and I've just been too scared to say it, because I feel like anyone who said tush push needs to be banned, they just got completely.
Yeah.
But like, to me, you cannot do it on the defensive side of the football. Plus, the offense, like the way the Eagles run it, is not legal football. It needs to go. It needs to go.
Yeah. I think
now
I think there can be some things that change. Like, if you're going to allow that, I think they have to take away the neutral zone infraction. I think you have to, because it is literally impossible to play defense. And I think this is a problem with the Eagles, because Lane Johnson, I think he has since retired, during their Super Bowl run, would leave the line like 20, like a significant amount of time before the ball was hiked. Like, if you watch any snap he played, he would leave like 2 seconds before. Just I'm on board with banning the tush push. I know people are going to come after this podcast, so just stop it. But when you're blatantly cheating,
it needs to go. It's not legal. The twist personality. Now the Eagles, like why the Eagles are so good at it is because their quarterback can
True.
squat a million bajillion pounds, and their offensive line is huge. If you take it out of the game and they run a QB sneak, they'll be equally as good at
Yeah.
it. If you even the playing field across the board, they will be as like still really good at QB sneaking, but at least they'll do it legal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't. It's nothing to do with the Eagles. We all know how much I hate the Eagles. It's everything to do with the fact that the play is just not legal. The way
Yeah.
they run the play is not legal.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, it's just not fun to watch. It's a terrible product of the NFL, and it honestly is insanely marketed as a good thing, which is absurd to me.
Yeah,
With
it's
that being
terrible.
said, this game kind of sucked.
Yeah, it was an absolute snooze fest. No one did really anything on offense. Um,
Travis Kelsey can't catch
Travis
anymore.
Kelsey can't catch anymore.
Mahomes might be human.
You saw that overthrow,
Yeah.
which he then kind of not. It was like 2 drives later. He had an absolute bomb that was perfectly thrown. But still, yeah, like
Yeah.
Mahomes missing a pass like that. I've never like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are now 0-2. Um, the
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what because my takeaway from the Eagles defense was that they were porous because the Cowboys scored as much as they did.
Yeah.
Um, but now they played well against the Chiefs, and the Cowboys offense might just be good. So like I don't really know where everything stands here, but like Jalen Hurts to start the year doesn't really have to do anything. And I know this comes into heated debate whether he's a top quarterback. You know our thoughts. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the
Yep.
NFL. I think if you don't say that, you're just wrong. But like he doesn't really have like the defense and the run game has been so good recently that especially in this game, I would say the defense in this past game, but in general, the team has just been so like he just not much is needed of him, and they just do enough to win because they have guys at every.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the other side, they have nobody except Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has been the lead rusher in the past 2 games. That's just not a recipe for success. Rasheed Rice, Hollywood. It's Hollywood Brown hurt.
No, he's playing, but Xavier Worthy is
Xavier
hurt.
Worthy. There you go.
Xavier Worthy is hurt.
That's 2 significant weapons for this team that are out.
Do you have the stats up?
I do not. Do
Good,
you?
good, good. I want you to guess
Oh Lord.
Kansas City's leading receiver.
This is gonna show my
Actually,
lack of ball knowledge.
it's tough because their leading receiver is actually who you'd think it would be, but he only had 61 yards and one crucial drop that led to a pick. It was Travis Kelce, 61 yards. Who was their second leading receiver? Let's go with that.
I mean, Hollywood Brown would be the.
Yeah, you'd think. No, it was Tyquan Thornton.
Oh,
Yeah. We all know Tyquan.
of course.
Yeah.
Who was their leading? Who was their second leading rusher behind Mahomes?
Kareem Hunt with 31 rushes.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
Damn,
yeah.
lack of ball knowledge.
He's been on them.
I'll
For
wear that.
a few years. I think they signed him. Actually, when I say a few years, it might just be maybe it
2.
was 3 years ago when Pacheco got hurt, or 2 years ago when
Yeah.
Pacheco got hurt, and they signed him.
That's all right.
But then, yeah, Pacheco was the third leading rusher. But after Tyquan Thornton, it was Hollywood Brown, and then after Hollywood Brown, it was Nico Remigio.
Oh, of
Yeah,
course.
so they are just depleted at wide receiver. Their pass catchers are. It's tough right now, yeah, and they're 0-2.
Yeah. But it is the Chiefs. We're not gonna overreact.
Never can.
They will still probably make the playoffs, and Patrick Mahomes is gonna get his weapons back at some point, and
Sure will. And I mean,
he's gonna return to that tier no one else can kind of be in.
we'll get a true test for the AFC West here in a couple hours. We are recording on Monday night, 10 Eastern. Chargers Raiders paired 1-0 teams. The Broncos lost this past week, rather controversially, which I'm sure we'll mention
Yeah.
probably later. But the fact of the matter is, the Broncos I think had a chance to really be like, yeah, we're 2-0 and we're gonna win this division. Didn't, and the Chargers and Raiders both have a chance to do that tonight. So it'll be really interesting to see. But the point is that there's no other dominant team that should run away with the West. So
Mm-hmm.
there's still a real chance that
Yeah.
the Chiefs win that division.
Yeah, absolutely. You brought it up, so let's talk about Broncos Colts ending with a Colts win. Talk to me about this controversy, man.
First off, I do want to say the Colts offense might legitimately be good.
Yeah.
This is the Broncos defense we're talking about. This was supposed to be a top 2 unit with the Steelers. And the Colts, after completely dominating the Dolphins, beat the Broncos, put up 29 against what's supposed to be an awesome defense. Daniel Jones looks great. I'm so happy for Daniel Jones. I'm so happy for the Colts. All that crap with since Andrew Luck retired, and then what were they? They were Carson Wentz for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They were Phillip Rivers. They were Nick Foles. And then Anthony Richardson looks terrible. Good for Colts fans. Good for Daniel Jones. But we do need to talk about the controversy, Sam. That leverage call.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't. I
Are you trying to
missed this
find it right
game.
now?
I am.
Well, let me know when you find it because I do want to get your first thoughts
Okay.
when you
I
watch it.
got it here.
All right. So this was called for leverage. Putting your
Yep.
hand on an offensive lineman to try and thrust forward.
Let me get okay.
Yeah, let me know when you have a conclusion on whether or not you think this was leverage or not.
Yeah. Let me
Watch it one more time. Really, really study.
I'm trying to see it.
Yeah, look, it's like maybe the defender put his hand on a shoulder and maybe because of that was able to get 0.01 inches higher than he would have been if he wasn't able to. But I mean, come on. And the previous possession for the Broncos, they had a chance to put the game away or at least make it more difficult with a field goal that they missed.
Yeah.
And there's a screen grab. A Colts defensive lineman is doing the same thing because everyone does that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like is
That's why I couldn't see it because it's so common.
Does he use the player?
That's crazy to
like,
call.
I mean, maybe, but like
that is
crazy to call.
That's a crazy call.
Like, in
the fact I couldn't find it after three to four watches tells you.
Yeah, and like, who won and lost this game, I don't think my takeaway was going to be much different because I do think both of these teams are pretty good.
Yeah.
But still, that's just tough if you're a Broncos fan, especially when the Chiefs are 0-2, and one of the other teams going to be 1-1 after night because they're playing each other.
Yeah.
So you really could have, taken a grip here and been tied with probably the Chargers. I assume if the Chargers beat the Raiders, then would have been tied with them. But like, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. If I'm a Broncos fan, I would be pissed. But the good news is, I think your team still is legitimately a good team.
Absolutely. Shall we talk about the Vikings here?
I don't really want to.
Well, we got to. People love tuning in for episodes when we're down bad, Tanner. You know this. They're hate watching. Falcons beat the Vikings 22-6. Tanner, obviously you're gonna dive a little deeper, but my takeaway from this game is gotta take care of the ball. 2 picks, 2 fumbles, 6 sacks. It looked like it's hard to get the offense going when that keeps happening.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, this game was bad. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Um, I'll start with the stuff. I'll start with everything but McCarthy. So we'll start with the defense. Look, a lot of people are going to say, oh, they held them to field goals, 100 field goals. Sure, they stiffened up in the red zone. They got gashed on the ground,
Dude.
absolutely gashed. Now the Falcons have one of the best running backs in
Sure,
football. I get
sure,
that.
absolutely.
If he was doing ungodly things and just breaking tackles
Sure.
constantly, then I would be like, whatever. But there were a few runs like that for sure because he is that
Yes.
guy. But take a look at some of those large chunk plays. Every NFL running back would have done that.
Yeah.
Would have been able to do what he did. So I'm worried about the run defense, and I think that's what it was because last year they had hilariously poor interior pass rush,
Yeah.
but they were really good against the run. It was a run stopping defense, and the edge rushers were the pass rushers. Now that did not work in the playoffs because you can do things with a back with a tight end to help against edge rushers, and the interior lineman can get any pressure. And Matt Stafford had all day and tore them apart. So they sacrificed some of that, traded away Harrison Phillips, the number one run stopper, to get interior pressure. Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, these are pass rushers from the interior. Well, that turns out that hurt the run game. They're getting gashed on the on the ground right now, and that's very concerning. On the offensive side of things, like McCarthy looked terrible. The play calling, Kevin O'Connell is as good as it comes. I am not giving up on Kevin O'Connell. He had a really bad game. It happens.
Yeah.
He had a really bad game. There's no shying away from that. But I think a lot of this is, I don't want to say covered up, but fixed. Minnesota has more injuries right now than you can imagine. The most important one, or when I say injuries, I'll say people out. Most of them are injuries. One of them is a suspension. Jordan Addison will obviously help. Christian Darrisaw is our all-pro left tackle. He is close to coming back. He tore his ACL last year, so he's close to coming back. That will help. The most important injury I want to highlight, Sam, happened in the second quarter of Monday Night Football, or Sunday Night Football, excuse me, against the Falcons. In the first half, JJ McCarthy wasn't great. I don't think he was terrible. In the second half, all the wheels completely came off.
Yeah.
And that's because Ryan Kelly, the center for the Vikings, got injured.
Gotcha.
The center is, I think, the most important position for a rookie quarterback because you'll see it in the Bears game. And Ryan Kelly played well against the Bears too. But you'll see he is instrumental in helping JJ McCarthy break stuff down, pointing out Mike linebacker here. Hey, edge rusher here, move the backer over. There is a play, and it was the play in which McCarthy fumbled, where they do some pre-snap movement, the defense does, and the center, who's played his first snaps in the NFL, was a 7th-round draft pick. He was on the team last year, so he's technically not a rookie, but first snaps in the NFL was a 7th-round draft pick. He has no idea who's coming and who's not. An edge rusher comes off the side. The tackle on that side, he's crashing inward. Ryan Kelly would have 100% noticed that, switched the protection, and the tackle would have kicked out and been able to block.
Yeah.
100%, no doubt in my mind. He is a free rusher off the edge. McCarthy is a strip sack. He fumbles, and the game's at a reach at that point. So my concern level is more than it was last week because, he did not look good. But the center, I cannot overstate how important the center being out is. Everything pre-snap, everything with the offensive line, getting them in their protections, it's all on the center. And Ryan Kelly was really good at that against Chicago, specifically in that second half. And in that first half, like the Vikings were moving the ball. They had the ball on the one, which a questionable play call. I think they should just handed it to Jordan Mason. They didn't. They tried some fake pitch thing. McCarthy kind of messed with the ball,
Yeah.
and then a penalty got put, and then you're out of your run game, and you're in your red zone, an obvious pass, and they ended up putting it in the end zone. Second half was a disaster for McCarthy, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the second one. So I caution all people to relax. It's 2 football games, but after last week, and obviously you talked my segment on here last week. I was talking about how special he is, like mentally. Like it's not going to be all sunshines and roses and rainbows, but the injuries are very scary and it'll be hard. I think that they're the most injured team in the NFL behind San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it didn't, and the news got way worse today.
Yeah. Talk to us about that.
So not only going into the game, your starting defensive end Andrew Van Ginkel out. One of your starting linebackers, the green dot, by the way, the quarterback of the defense, he was out. So you're already playing with backups there. Your all pro left tackle was out with that injury from last year. So you're already down major guys. Now in this game, your your other defensive end got banged up. He played through it, but he's banged up. I think your starting running back. It's more of a platoon with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mace, but Aaron Jones is now out with a hamstring. And then of course JJ McCarthy. The broadcast did notice it during the game when he got stepped on. Turns out he sprained his ankle and he's out 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So now you're going for 2 to 4 weeks with Carson Wentz at the helm with multiple backup offensive linemen. I don't know if Darrisaw will be back for next week, but multiple injured offensive linemen, an injured running back, a suspended wide receiver, multiple defensive injuries. This could get away. This could get away fast. And then if it does, the purpose of the season changes really quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely cause for concerns in Minnesota, but fortunately, you're not the only one in this position, as there were a lot of high level injuries.
Specifically to
Quarterbacks, I believe there's 5 starting quarterbacks out right now with injuries.
And I know this air quote, fortunately, obviously weird to say fortunately about an injury. One of them is who the Vikings play next week.
And that, of course, is the Cincinnati Bengals, perhaps the biggest news coming from the NFL side of things. Joe Burrow went down with a turf toe injury and seems it is pretty serious. Sideline him.
It's a grade 3
for at least 3 months now. Tanner, we kind of talked about this last week. The Bengals really haven't done much.
Almost lost to the Jags at home.
Almost lost to Jags.
No, they're done.
They're done. We were talking about eventually this Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins door is going to shut. And with the injury history of Joe Burrow, and add another page to that, it's looking very, very bleak for Cincinnati and the Bengals faithful.
Yeah, no, Cincinnati is done. Especially with the way Baltimore's looking, that division is over. You try to look for maybe you can sneak in as a wild card. I don't know, but you're not going to win with Jake Browning, or maybe he'll be back for a potential playoff. But anyway, like the team's just not built to withstand an injury like that to one of their star players. So Cincinnati, their season is as good as done. Now, again, fortunately for them, they play Carson Wentz next week, so maybe they can get a win there. But it's tough for the Bengals. Again, not that I was high on them anyway, but turf toe.
Yeah.
Is there an injury out there that sounds that's as big of a sounds like it's nothing, but you look up, it's a grade 3 turf toe. Do you know what that means? A complete tear of the ligament. He's got torn ligaments, torn cartilage in there, and turf toe just sounds like you stubbed your toe.
Yeah. Now, is it the turf part, or the toe
I
part.
think it's the alliteration.
It's the
turf
alliteration.
turf toe sounds whimsical. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you get a little
You
ouchie, I got a little turf toe,
get
you know.
a
But
little rug burn on the turf.
so
Yeah.
I think, but like, yeah, I think it's the alliteration, and it also it's that it's a toe. Like if you had, you know, turf foot. Turf foot sounds way worse than turf toe.
Yeah.
But yeah, turf toe has got an all time bad PR team because it is a nasty injury,
Yeah.
and it just sounds like it's like a oochie ouchie.
Yeah. Absolutely. More quarterbacks have gone down. Justin Fields is currently in concussion protocol after taking a hit from Joey Bosa during their game against Buffalo. He is needs to clear protocol before they head down to Tampa to face the Bucks and next Sunday. If he doesn't, Tyrod Taylor will be playing quarterback for the New York Jets. Then we go down, or go, yeah, down, I guess, to Washington D.C. It was announced today that Jane Daniels suffered a knee injury. Knee sprain is the official diagnosis. Doesn't appear to be too serious, according to this report, but his status is still in doubt. If he's sidelined, Marcus Mariota will get some run. Um, Brock Purdy, he's out for a while with a shoulder and toe injury. It's pretty crazy how many starting quarterbacks have gotten hurt so far this year.
Correct. Correct. Um, it sucks to see, obviously, but you know, it's the nature of the sport. It's a contact sport. It's a violent sport, and people are going to get injured.
Yeah, but it seems some have an opportunity to return, some not so much. But any last thoughts on the NFL slate this week? Like I said at the beginning of it, not as good a slate as week one, but still had some good games.
Yeah, I don't. I think that's pretty much we kind of wrapped it up as good as we was hoping to. Yeah, like you said, it's like we were leaning on Philly and Kansas City to be a good game. It really
Yeah,
wasn't. We were leaning on, you know, Minnesota and Atlanta to be a good game. That wasn't. So really it was Cowboys Giants and a whole bunch of I guess you can throw even the good games like Denver and Indianapolis was a great game ends with controversy.
controversy.
So
Yeah, there we are doing our schedule a little different this week. Monday night games are going on. Tampa Bay up 14-10 with 12 minutes left in the third. So this one has been a fun one to watch. But yeah, that's kind of wraps it up for NFL for now. But Tanner, shall we talk a little players of the
of
week?
course, man.
Let's go back to the college side of things. Who is your player of the week?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go with someone who obviously had a fantastic week in a big win for I think what is an underrated team. They jumped in the rankings. I believe got I believe they did anyway. They only jumped a few spots. I'm going to go with Missouri running back Ahmad Hardy.
There we go. Yeah,
Ahmad
they
Hardy had an absolute game. I don't know if you've seen
he
this
was
stat line.
he was balling for sure.
22 attempts, 250 yards. That's 11.4 yards per carry. Oh, and he got in the end zone 3 times. That's pretty damn good if you ask me. 22 for 250 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
All-time
ain't bad.
performance. Led the Missouri Tigers to a 52-10 win. Them and their new quarterback, Bo Pribula, you
That
remember
dude's a
him?
beast.
Penn State backup, goes to Missouri. They're now 3-0. Big win in the border war. Took care of Louisiana big time. Next week, they have South Carolina. Obviously, Lenore Sellers, his availability is up in the air. So potentially another big win for Missouri. And Ahmad Hardy, player of the week.
Yeah, he was definitely one I had on my radar. I think him. I think we nailed this week
I like it.
because I have Fernando Mendoza of the Indiana Hoosiers. Had a damn near perfect game against Indiana State, 73-0. I don't care who you're playing when you put up 73. That is impressive, especially when you go 19 for 22, 70 yards and 5 touchdowns. And let's just add one on the ground as he carries one in for a touchdown. Just absolutely amazing performance by Mendoza. They got big one coming up this week against Illinois, could make some big impact on that Big Ten, but we'll talk about that a little later. But let's flip over to the pro side of things. Here you got.
I'm wondering if we have players on the same team here.
Okay.
Because you have a quarterback, right?
I do.
And I very easily could take this team's quarterback. I'm not. I'm going to go with a wide receiver. I'm going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I think we might have the same team.
He had 9 receptions for $115. Oh, and 3 touchdowns between college and NFL. My players of the week have a total 6 touchdowns. That's pretty damn good, and not one of them is a quarterback.
Not one of them's a quarterback. That's pretty crazy.
That's pretty gnarly. But yeah, catching 9 of 11 targets for $115 and 3 touchdowns doesn't get much better than that as a wide receiver. The Detroit Lions obviously had a great day offensively, which I'm sure we'll get into next.
Yeah,
I'll just leave it at that. Amon-Ra St. Brown, what a day.
Yeah, I mean, last week we obviously had some discussion about this Lions team, where they're at, and they bounced back. Fortunate for them is against the putrid Chicago Bears, but nonetheless, it doesn't take away from performances by, of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown and, of course, his quarterback, Jared Goff, looked like peak Jared Goff, 23-28, 334, 82.4% completion. And of course, 5 touchdowns, 3 of those going to Amon-Ra St. Brown. So all around a freaking awesome day for the Detroit Lions.
52-piece on their old head, offensive coordinator's head. Look, it'll be interesting to play this game with the Lions. Are you good, or did you just play the Bears? You could play it, I mean, also with the Vikings, but obviously the Vikings team that's going to be moving forward and the Vikings team that played the Bears are going to be completely different with all the injuries. But, like, are you good, or did you just play the Bears?
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see with the Lions' upcoming schedule. Is going to be interesting. I'm taking a look at it next week. Ravens.
Yeah.
Did you mention that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I did not.
Next week they play the Ravens. So on Monday Night Football. So we'll get a good read. Are you good, or did you just play the Bears?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's gonna wrap it up for the players of the week. Had some dudes balling, but now it's time for week 4 pick'em. Don't have an update for y'all as of right now because we do have a game going on. But it will be posted later this week. Cameron Tissue. If you saw the clip, you should have listened because his Superdog cash and across the board, we are on some heaters, Tanner. Right now, you are perfect when it comes to pick 'em. We won't talk about that Superdog. I have 1 loss with Arkansas, and then Tissue has 1 loss. So all around a freaking awesome week
now,
for the boys.
I have the Texans in this game, right? And
right now we have Tissue, and I have the Bucks, and you have the Texans. That is correct. So could be an all-time week for the crew across the board. But now we are going to welcome on our guest picker, Robbie Moseley. And we now welcome on Robbie Moseley. Robbie, how you doing? Your Volunteers unfortunately lost a heartbreaker on Saturday, but how are you feeling about your Volunteers so far in this college football season?
I don't know why you had to bring that up. Like,
I mean, it was like remarkable how quick he brought that up. Like, barely even said
I
hi.
thought
And
we
he's
were
like, "Oh, by the way,
friends.
your
I thought we were
volunteers
like
lost."
good friends.
I mean, that was crazy.
Man, I'm taken aback.
Hey,
But
at least your quarterback's an absolute stud.
yeah, I like Joey. Joey's the guy. It's better than he who shall not be named last year.
I mean,
But
coach still
very
has his
disappointing
job,
loss.
so that's good.
Yeah.
Very disappointing loss. But going into the game, I didn't think that we really were gonna play like how we did. So I think it made it hurt more. But I don't think the season's over or anything. I have a
Sure.
good faith in this team now, more than I did going into the year for sure.
Yeah. I mean, a couple decisions away from getting a huge win over Georgia, but you're on here for some pick'em, so let's dive right into it. Big matchup in the SEC, number 22, traveling down to Norman to take on Boomer Sooner. Oklahoma is a 6.5 point favorite. Robbie, who you got here?
I want to know if this is a revenge game for Oklahoma or for Jackson Arnold. Who wants revenge on who more? And I think that I'm going to go with Oklahoma in that kind of battle. I think that the gambling man, Mater, I believe is how you pronounce his last name,
Yeah.
is the leading passer in the SEC this year. Even though Oklahoma is mistake prone, and I don't really think that they're for real, for real. I don't think that this Auburn team should be too much of a challenge.
Tanner?
I agree. I mean, it's like I against the elite talent in the SEC, I'm not taking Oklahoma. They're playing pretty good football right now, better than I expected. They are flawed, but I think they're better than Auburn. I think they get this win at home.
Yeah, I hate to make it 3 for 3, but John Mater, John Mateer, don't know the dude's name, but it is a name you should know because he is absolutely slinging it.
Got a
So give me
rocket coming on.
Boomer
Yeah, oh yeah.
Sooner. Next, we travel down to the Big 12 as number 17 Texas Tech takes on number 16 Utah. Robbie, who you got?
I think that I am going to stick with Kyle Whittingham and the Utah Utes in this game. I think that Texas Tech has not really played anybody. I don't know if you can just buy a roster for Texas Tech and it's going to work like at Ohio State, where there's more like a foundational talent pool. I don't know if Texas Tech has that, so I'm going to go with Utah to get a big win on Big Noon kickoff.
Look, I've been impressed with Texas Tech. I don't see him getting it on the road. I hate to agree, but I will because I just think Utah is the better team. They kind of opened my eyes pretty early on in the season, putting UCLA in the absolute dirt in week one and bringing in a new quarterback. You're not playing the game with Cam Rising anymore. Bring in a new quarterback. The team looks good. Regarding Texas Tech, like it it might work to the point where just because the Big 12 is so bad, they might be able to put in some, make some noise in the Big 12. But I agree. I think Utah gets the win at home.
This is a brutal start because I also have the Utes. Devin Dampier is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the country right now, playing on absolute clinic week in, week out. So give me the Utes. It's not looking good, boys. But let's stay in the Big 12 as Arizona State takes on Baylor. Robbie, who you got?
Usually, like in the Big 12, like especially the old Big 12 with like a Baylor, I always back the home team because usually that's the team that ends up winning. It's a must win for both teams, I think, right now because they both have a loss. One, the Baylor lost to Auburn. I think Arizona State lost to Mississippi State. And I'm going to go with the team that didn't lose to Mississippi State. So give me Baylor.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a both win. It's a must win for both teams. Excuse me, but I am gonna go with Kenny Dillingham and the Arizona State Sun Devils. Yeah, they've sat on the week the loss to Mississippi State. Obviously, was a disaster of a first half. They dominated the second half, and then kind of an inexcusable, weird cover zero play, and when you just can't get beat over your head. I don't really understand that from the coaching staff. I think they'll get it figured out. And Baylor, obviously they had a great win against SMU. a few weeks ago. But I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Arizona State. I think they have more talent. And as you said, a must win for both teams. I'm going to go with the team that I think has more talent. So I'm going with Arizona State to win on the road.
Tanner, that is a phenomenal pick. Now, little betting advice, obviously gamble responsibly. Bet the over in this one. I think this is going to be a classic old school Big 12 shootout. Sawyer Robertson, whatever his name is, Duke can sling it. Sam Levitt, Jordan Tyson on the Sun Devils, I think just have a little more to it. Give me Arizona State. But perhaps the best game of the week is in the Big Ten, of course. Illinois heads to Indiana, 9-19. Robbie, who you got?
I'm not going to support Kirk Cignetti in any way. I think Indiana has a real chance to lose their next 3 games. Illinois, then they're at Iowa, and then I believe they go to Oregon after that, after like a bye.
Kind of a tough
Illinois,
stretch.
Tough stretch.
yeah. So I think that this is where the losing starts for Kirk Cignetti. It's not the worst case scenario for in Indiana. Like last year was a phenomenal season, but you're just not as good this year. So give me Illinois.
That's a great pick. I love Luke Altmaier. I think he is the best quarterback that you don't know about. The general public isn't talking about. I think this Illinois team is fun. I think they're good. And I think they go into Bloomington and get the win on the back of the best player on the field will be Luke Altmaier. Give me the line.
Not so fast. I'll save the graphic. Give me Indiana. I talked about this guy earlier. I think Fernando Mendoza is another guy that a lot of people are not giving a lot of credit. I think the home team, home crowd plays to Indiana's benefit this game. So give me the Hoosiers. But now we switch over to the NFL. We got the Rams taking on the Eagles. Robbie, who you got here?
I think just could be like their last 2 meetings. I think it's a relatively close game. The Eagles just outrun them in the end. It's the Eagles again.
The Eagles formula right now is um I think it's going to be similar to how, like you said, how it's been recently and how they played against Kansas City. It's just going to be their defense is going to play well, and they're going to be able to run the ball. And Jalen Hurts hasn't been asked to do anything. And if it comes to that, maybe they open up the playbook a little bit, but I don't think it even will. I just think Saquon and Hurts with his legs, they handle this on the ground. They maintain a slower pace, keep that clock running, dominate time of possession and give me the Eagles at home here.
Yep. As long as a tush push is legal. Obviously some quotation marks around that. Eagles are just unstoppable. So give me the Eagles there. Moving on though, we have two pretty interesting teams. Cowboys versus the Bears. Robbie, who you got here?
I refuse to ever pick the Bears ever. The Bears are not a good team, and it's not a Ben Johnson problem. It's not a Caleb Williams problem. Foundationally, that team is just broken. They need to tear it all down, just like they massacred Soldier Field with that ugly redo a couple. I mean, it was maybe a decade ago now. They need to tear it all down and start over. And the Bears defense has made Jared Goff look like MVP. They made JJ McCarthy look like the rookie of the year in week 1, and we saw how he played against the Falcons. Whether he was hurt or not is when he got hurt is a topic of discussion for a later day. But
You got stepped on. I saw my own twice.
it's got to be the Cowboys. Like that defense is bad, but not as bad as the Bears.
If you think I'm picking the Bears after this week, like, could they win? It's one of those weird games where, like, the defenses are bad. So, like, I could see. I'm just not. I cannot put my own backing for the Chicago Bears. There's no way I'm going to do it. I'm going with the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough slate when this is a pick 'em game.
It's an interesting game, and I think the Bears can win. There's just no way I'm going to say they will. I just can't.
You and me both. I got the Cowboys here. I just think they're more talented, and they have Brandon Aubrey, so
Yeah,
he can kick it from like 70. So we have that going for us. But moving on, um, Jets Bucks. Robbie, who you got?
It's an interesting game because we're currently watching the Buccaneers play. Um, and if both their tackles are out, that might make things a lot more interesting. Because I don't know what the status is of Justin Field is going to be next week. Because I believe he suffered a concussion against the Bills.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's he's in concussion protocol, but right now they're saying Tyrod Taylor's a starter.
yeah, for that reason alone, I got to go with the Buccaneers. And they could end up losing this game right now. It's a very losable game for them right now. So maybe 3-0 for the Buccaneers sounds a little crazy, but 2-1 maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. I look at this game and like weird thing about me, I could be the world's number one Tyrod Taylor fan. I think few people have been given a worse deal than Tyrod Taylor. Um, Justin Fields, whether or not the Jets are better with Tyrod Taylor or Justin Fields, I will not say, but I could tell you the Jets with Tyrod Taylor and the Jets with Justin Fields are worse than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so the Buccaneers win this game.
Yeah,
That's football analysis, baby.
Let's go.
perfect. I'm a Baker Mayfield stan. I have been since day one. Not gonna go with him against Tyrod Taylor. Justin Fields don't matter. Give me the Bucks here.
Yeah, it's tough slate.
Yeah.
It's like they
Yeah.
decided all the bad games are the games that no one really cares about to be a one weekend.
Yeah. Pretty tough. But this one is going to be the game of the week in the NFL. Ravens. Lions coming off that dominant performance of the Bears. Ravens having a wishy-washy season. But Robbie, who you got here?
Well, I
you
think
like
that this is a must win for Baltimore, mostly because if they lose this game, that means they lose to two solid opponents, and that means they just beat up on the poor Browns. So that's not a great look for Baltimore. I think Baltimore may not cover the spread, but I think that they'll win this game, and they'll probably get to Jared Goff a couple times. And I think that after last week, they got to get Derrick Henry going again.
Yeah. Yeah. I see your analysis. I raise you if the Lions lose this, then they lost to the Packers and the Ravens, two good teams, and they just beat up on the poor Bears. However, this game is being played outdoors, and Jared Goff is something about the sun, the outdoors. It does not agree with Jared Goff. So I will go with the Ravens. I do think Derrick Henry gets going again. I mean, it does it obviously matters, but in the end, like the Ravens are so good, they will beat you in any way you can. Like any way whatever's hitting that game, the Ravens can play that way offensively and win. And yeah, I don't think Jared Goff has his best game outdoors. So give me,
Boys, we have picked the same for all the NFL games.
just because we all know ball, what could go wrong?
Or
So I'll save it. I'll save it. I'll be the bigger man. Give me the Lions.
A sacrifice.
A sacrifice.
Sacrificial sword.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
100%. That leads to Superdogs. Robbie, talk to me.
Okay, last time I was on this podcast, I famously, to maybe you two, and hopefully a bunch of other people, gave out Air Force plus 20, what was it, 21 and a half against Army. Army was rolling at the time, and it was just an ugly, ugly game. I think Army won like 31-17, so it was great call by me. But I don't have as crazy or of a, because I couldn't find one that I liked. So I'm going with the conference that I went to college at. I like the SEC, so I watch mostly SEC games. Last week, all the Beamer Ball deniers were given a little sweet treat. Vanderbilt came in there. I know Lenora Sellers got hurt, but no matter what they did, the defense looked bad, offense looked bad. They looked like they got dominated. South Carolina. And they're going in to Missouri, who's just mowed through everybody, mowed through Kansas. But for that reason, that just sounds like a Beamer Ball game, and South Carolina can keep it close. And that's why I'm going with South Carolina plus 13 and a half.
The football makes no sense game of the week. Team hurt quarterback equals cover. Always does.
Yep.
Because everyone will see that under 2 touchdowns and will hammer Missouri. I don't hate that at all.
Tanner?
Yeah, my pick. I wish I had a little extra half point on the line here, but I think there's a good chance this team wins this game. The big signature win in Lincoln for the first time in a long time. Nebraska wins at home, baby. Give me Nebraska over Michigan. I'm not buying the true freshman quarterback. He looked terrible against Oklahoma. Give me Nebraska to get their first win. First big-time win in a long time.
You're asking for heartbreak.
Nebraska plus 2.5. That Nebraska has never led me wrong ever in history. What could go wrong?
Yeah,
Never won.
I really hope you're right. That read. But I am gonna go with a team that has played almost everybody close, and that is the Tulane Green Wave. Beat Duke in their week 2 matchup. Duke has fallen apart since. Beat a good South Alabama team and then took care of business against Northwestern week 1. This is going to be a fun one. Ole Miss is who they're taking on. They have 11.5. Ole Miss can't play a lick of defense, so give me the Green Wave to cover plus 11.5 against Ole Miss.
Pretty good.
I like it.
But that wraps it up for week 4 Pick'em. Robbie, thank you so much for coming back on the pod. You are official reoccurring guest of
Let's
the pod.
go.
But you got a wide range of favorite teams. I asked you about Tennessee. I gotta ask, how you feeling about your Steelers and Aaron Rodgers?
Well, they're playing Steelers football. 10-7, 9-8. That's the dream. Drew Bowls are for other people. We already have 6 of those. Who needs more?
Yeah,
so I'm enjoying the season thus far. I think that last week just really turned on that unfortunate Caleb Johnson play, which sucked for me because it double hurt because I like the Steelers and Caleb Johnson went to Iowa, which I also went. So that was a big bummer for me personally. But I think the Steelers will be fine. I think that they'll play a really good game against New England this weekend. So I haven't think they've won in New England in a long time. So it could be really interesting.
There you go. But
we got to keep the train rolling here.
Yeah.
October baseball is just around the corner.
Oh no.
How are you feeling about the New York baseball AL? I'll say.
Okay, I last time I was on here, I told you that Juan Soto was going to the Mets. I don't know if we were recording that.
That is true.
He did.
That
he
is
absolutely
true.
did.
I was being an impartial fan. I kind of just saw the writing on the wall. This time, I don't have a boldest prediction for. I don't think there's a major free agent like last time, but if I was a betting man, I would put my money on the Brewers. They just seem like the most complete team in baseball. I know they've kind of lagged off more recently, but
team of destiny after the way their season ended last year.
But the Brewers have never won the World Series, and I don't know if it's like I see it and I want it for them, or because I just don't think this Yankees team is good enough to win the World Series, let alone make it to it.
Yeah, the main thing working in your favor is just the American League is.
Well, if you can beat the Tigers, you're good. That's about it.
You're good. That's it.
I don't know if anyone can.
That's it. Yeah, but on the National League side, baseball's canceled. Baseball is stupid and for losers because baseball sucks.
That's Man, I just don't understand what happened over there. They're just
guess what? Me neither.
Their team's not like it's just destroyed by injuries. They have a couple, but it's not like man, the Mets are the Mets.
They just collectively decided, oh, that's right. We wear blue and orange. We suck at baseball, and then they did. That's what happened.
You know, I don't hate the Mets like a lot of Yankees fans do. Oh my gosh, Chase!
Ooh, that's brutal.
That's his third one, isn't it?
Is it?
Third doink.
Uh-oh.
I think he
I
had
love
two
when they
again.
miss a field goal and they got to turn up and still second place. Thank the good Lord. Thanks for going, big pal.
Thanks for the doink, big man.
Yeah.
But man, that was a give me.
Yeah, that was the toughest field goal. But like you said, man, I don't know if a team in the history of baseball has gone from having the best record in baseball in at the end of May to falling out of the playoffs, which is
Probably the Mets.
a chance that very likely. I mean, I wouldn't say it's very likely because they do still hold a playoff spot as of today, but it's only by like 1.5 games.
If there's any team that's done it, it was probably the Mets. I think they did it a decade ago.
This is fun. I'm having fun.
I'm sorry. I just watch so much baseball, so I kind of see the trends. Baseball is a weird circle, you know.
Correct.
All the same things happen every once in a while, and it's very obvious when you can see it coming.
Yep.
Feels like a year where there's no team that really dominated the entire year. Maybe I guess the Brewers, but like
until Andrew Vaughn got to the Brewers and turned into Prime Babe Ruth for a month.
that was awesome. That's why baseball's the best. Like a guy like that who just stinks, and he just comes out and dominates, and then becomes a household name for a month, and then as soon as football season is, we don't talk about it again.
Yeah, gone
Until it's the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's true.
Baseball's in the weird spot where like probably like 70% of the teams that are gonna make it. But it's just like those little battles like the Mariners and the Astros that keep you a little interested. You keep your eye on it. But man, I just don't see the Yankees winning it this year, and I don't think the Mets might miss the playoffs if they keep losing.
Yeah, they suck. They're terrible at baseball for literally.
What are they about? Game and a half?
Game and a half, yeah, over the Reds.
That's a bad place to be.
Yeah, really bad place to be. No doubt about it.
I wish you luck though, because
I appreciate it.
I don't want him. I don't want Frank the Tank to die personally.
I will plead the fifth.
It'd be really, really crappy if he lost a bunch of weight and then had something happen to him. That'd be really crappy.
And then his heart goes because the Mets.
Because of the Mets.
That would be Frank the Tank though. But the ticket, your reward for making the playoffs, you just gotta play 3 games in LA versus the Dodgers to move on. So
sorry.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. But yeah, this season was a disaster. It sucks. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We'll always be the Mets.
And that's a little baseball talk with Robbie and Tanner. Unprompted. Job well done, fellas. But Robbie, again, thank you so much for coming on. You're a reoccurring guest. So that means you have to come on whenever we ask. So
we don't make the rules.
We don't make the rules, but thanks so much, Robbie.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Robbie, for coming on. We'll see how he does. Seems like he's got some competition with Tissue, my dad, Ron. But let's see how he does. But that is going to wrap it up for episode 184. Not only did we get Tanner sad about his Vikings, but we even got a little impromptu Mets talk.
You've heard our segment Mad About Iowa. Our new segment Sad about my sports team.
Yeah, there you go. But that is going to wrap it up for episode 184. Talked, of course, some football and a little impromptu baseball. And you can follow the podcast on all our socials, Instagram, X, TikTok, posting a lot more clips with these longer episodes. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe on our YouTube Crunch Time with the N326 duo. But the clock has run out on this one. But we'll see you on the next one on Crunch Time.
I'll see you.